In today's edition of influencers trying and failing to create good music is Dylan Mulvaney. If you don't know who Dylan Mulvaney is, here's a quick rundown. Dylan is a trans woman known for her series Days of Girlhood, where she documented her transition. Before I go any further, I want to say that if you are here to be transphobic and invalidate Dylan's identity, you can get the hell out of here. Alright, with that out of the way, let's continue. Dylan has become a major celebrity, working with the likes of Lady Gaga and Paris Hilton. She recently came out with a song called Days of Girlhood to celebrate 2 years of her Days of Girlhood series. The song immediately went viral, but for all the wrong reasons. Many people have compared it to Friday by Rebecca Black for its lackluster lyrics but fun sound. As somebody who is a lover of So Bad It's Good music, I had to give it a shot. The song starts with an awesome guitar. I won't lie, I really like the instrumental for this song. It's definitely the best part of it for me. Gives me so much hope that Dylan could actually make good music, since the production itself isn't the bad part for most of it, in my opinion. Instead, it's lyrics and vocals. Speaking of, the vocals start, and right off the bat, I was extremely confused. Dylan Mulvaney is theatrically trained and was literally on Broadway in the Book of Mormon. Therefore, you would expect her to be a great singer on this track. However, she adopts this very airy tone that is hard to listen to. It also comes off as her wanting to belt every single note. It honestly reminds me of Leah Michele whenever she would be assigned pop covers on Glee. Her voice was suited perfectly for theater, but not for pop. I mean, just go back and listen to her covers of Oops, I Did It Again or Firework. It sounds like she's holding back from belting, and it hurts the vocal quality of the performance. Dylan's performance here has that same energy to me. That being said, I like the melody. It's very fun and it gets stuck in my head. The main issue for me is once again this airy singing style. It's annoying and low-key gives me a headache. Also, she switches from a pure singing style to more of this singing talking style throughout the verse. Obviously, this is a stylistic choice, but I wish she had been more consistent with it. I think the song would have benefited from being in the talking singing style, if I'm being completely honest. Those are my favorite parts of it. Speaking of, we get to my favorite part of the song. During the first verse, Dylan describes a typical week of girlhood, and it is so insanely catchy. The way she says meds in the Tuesday section and yes in the Wednesday section scratches my head just right. The only issue I have with this is that it does such a great job of building up to the chorus, but then takes away its own momentum with Thursday. The melody slows down and drops to talk about a walk of shame where Dylan didn't know the man's name. On one hand, I get that it's supposed to be this embarrassing thing, but I also would have loved for her to embrace the fun of the situation and keep the up-tempo, which literally continues after that section just to be halted again for the Sunday section, where she describes having a breakdown to the Twilight soundtrack. Once again, I think the silliness of the situation could have kept the high tempo. We all have breakdowns, and it being to the Twilight soundtrack is objectively funny. After killing the momentum literally right before the chorus is what kills the song for me. We slow down, which leads to a pause before the chorus, the worst part of the song anyways. At least if there had been a fun build up to the chorus, it would have been less jarring, but I mean, it would still be pretty jarring. This is where the airy singing style Dylan has decided to use becomes its most annoying. Every vowel is pronounced in a way I can only be described as nails on a chalkboard. Side note, in the music video, there's choreography for the chorus, and I constantly wonder what you're supposed to do when you're working on a music video to a horrible song. You just pretend nothing's wrong or what? Also, I could not imagine having to listen to the chorus over and over for the choreo, so props to the dancers for that. Anyways, back to the song. The next verse is pretty good, but for some reason the instrumental is turned up really high, so it's hard to understand the lyrics at all. I just think this verse is overall less interesting than the last one. While it starts going through the events of being a girl, it stops halfway through and then becomes a hype track for the people who inspired her. While I think that's awesome, I think it would have been cool if she recycled the Days of the Week verse style from the previous verse, but switched up the events since that's where the hype part starts. Kind of like how in Train's 50 Ways to Say Goodbye, they switched up the Ways of Death for the first two choruses. Show us what the Days of Girlhood entail, especially since those were the best parts of the song. Although I will say, the second verse doesn't have the same issue as the first, where it slows down and breaks momentum, which was good. Another side note, but apparently some people are annoyed that Dylan's definition of girlhood isn't theirs and that they think she's appropriating womanhood. I found it pretty relatable personally, but also women have different experiences. Her experiences as a famous woman that parties and mingles with celebrities is going to be different than that of a housewife with multiple kids. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Let's get back to the song. We sadly have to listen to the chorus again, but then we get an outro where we get a soft piano rendition of the chorus, but slower. Then Dylan gives a little love ya, which scared the absolute shit out of me because it comes after the piano stops, and I thought that was the end of the song. And it is also much louder than the piano. And the piano part in general is pretty unnecessary. I think the song should have ended at the second chorus and it would have been fine. Instead, the song slows down again to have this whole piano outro for literally no reason. It's a completely different vibe to the entire song. Overall, I don't necessarily hate the song the way some people do. although I don't think I would ever listen to it in my free time the way I would listen to Friday by Rebecca Black or Hot Problems by Double Take. Both songs that are so bad they're amazing. Literally anything by Julie Ragbier. However, I do listen to the part with the days of the week on repeat, so I'll give credit where it's due. I'd still recommend you give it at least one listen just to say you've done it and to support a trans artist, because even if it's bad, we should still support our trans sisters. Anyways, if you liked the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, or do all three. If you like this video, I might do one either on Julie Ragbier's album or Hot Problems and see where those girls are now. Also, I know this video is a little late. I've been having some medical problems and I just wasn't able to use my laptop because of it, but now I'm mostly better and ready to get back on my content creation. With that being said, Corn out.